Damien, follow-up question. The Maritime Union of New Zealand has today claimed that the cancellation cost for the iRex ship build is likely to come in at more than $300 million and could run up to a maximum cost approaching $500 million at current rates. This would be on top of $500 million that's already been sunk in on the cancelled iRex project. I'm as pissed off as any Labour Party supporter that the bloody bike lane over the Harbour Bridge that never got built cost us $150 million. But sweet zombie Jesus, Labour shouldn't be lectured on economic mismanagement by a government that has spent $1 billion on a Toyota Corolla, should they?
I don't know whether it cost $150 million for the bike lane, but anyway, come back to that decision.
I heard it was only 50, to be fair.
That decision, to cancel was bloody stupid.
Right.
Absolutely stupid, because it was a good deal on the ships.
Such a good deal.
They were slightly larger because they were then more rail capable.
Yes.
Which is really what we need if we're trying to decarbonise our economy.
Yes.
And there are some issues there around, but I'm presuming that they could still use the same channels. There's discussion about, how big. I guess these big boats are just as manoeuvrable and could have used the same channels. Come back to the point around the infrastructure. I know one contractor working in Picton, they started to dig up, a place to put. It was just a let-down area or place down area. It was a whole lot of asbestos. So that contract blew out. Most contracts that we've seen, Transmission Gully being a classic, have blown out costs. It was a big project. No one liked the blowout and the cost. But the issue for us long term is, can we afford not to have the best ferries and the best infrastructure to link our two major islands? And I think it's a bit of a mess, and I think the Minister of Finance is finding this out now.
We should build a tunnel.
I've always believed in the tunnel.
For the amount of money that we spent on COVID, we could have built a tunnel.
And actually, I think I've seen some reports that show that if we did build a tunnel, it would have a huge economic impact for the South Island. So I'm all for this.
It's about twice the distance of the
iRex. So this is the deal, yeah? We've lost $1 billion bucks, and we have nothing for it because $3 billion was too much. So what that means is if they spend anywhere near $1 to $1.5 billion, you'll be within cooey of having the Ferrari. So for them to get out of this with any kind of credibility, they have to spend $500 million or less. And what the hell is that going to look like? Because if you're telling me for 2/3 of the price of a Ferrari, like if they spend $1 billion, that gets us to $2 billion. For 2/3 of the price for what I could have got a Ferrari for, but I get something 50 times worse, it's a terrible investment. Like they got to spend very little money to save any face. They're not going to be able to. It's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely. And Barb Edmonds asked Nicola Willis some questions about this in Parliament yesterday. And Willis was getting up and saying, well, I've just been down to Centre Port here in Wellington, and they showed me the wharf, and I said, could this take a ferry? And they're like, yeah, no problems. And Barb goes, well, I've heard you're looking at these E-flexes. This is these ones that are made in Stena. No, they made in China, and they're nearly as big as the ones that you've cancelled. So you're going to need new wharfs, aren't you? And she basically admitted it. And she said, yeah, but we won't be paying for it. So God knows who's going to be paying for it. But yeah, by the time you buy the ferries, and they'll be close to $1 billion now, because we were going to pay $500 million, but the price of ships has gone through the roof and the exchange rate has got worse. And then you pay landside stuff, different stuff than the stuff that's just been cancelled. You're going to be lucky to get under $3 billion, and what are you going to end up with? Worse ones.
Yeah, well, that's what we've been saying the whole time. They'll either spend the same money. They will. They'll spend this. They'll either spend the same money and get worse, or they'll spend more and get worse. I mean, she's the one that bought up the Ferrari. So what they're basically saying now is they're going to have the good old reliable second-hand Corolla for the price of a Ferrari. That's what's going to happen. They're going to get the lesser product for the price they could have got their Ferrari for. There's absolutely almost, even if they did it for $1.6 billion and they went, oh, look, we saved $400 million. Yeah, another $400 million for a Ferrari. There's no way out of this that's going to work for them. And even if they go, well, we're not paying for it, it's going to be privatized, that's still no way out for them, because they're going to that's not going to work well for them at the next election.